My name is Beth Blessed. Welcome to our today's program, Bible Expositors, where our aim is to reveal Christ. And for you to continue learning with us, learning and unlearning, I would like you to subscribe, comment, like, and share. Our today's topic is consequences of man's disobedience in the garden. Now, today I have my visitor with me, and I would like him to introduce himself. Ryan.
Hello,
How
sister.
do you do?
I do well.
Introduce yourself.
Thank you. Welcome our viewers once again. My name is James. I am born again. I'm Christ ambassador here on earth. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Now, James, in today's topic, I would like us to cover the consequences of man's disobedience in the garden. And for a start, I would like us to read the commandment that we were given in Genesis chapter 2, verse 15, so that you can take us through.
Very well.
Genesis chapter 2, verse 15. Then the Lord God took the man and put him in the garden of Eden to tend and keep it. And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, Of every tree of the garden you may freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat, for in the day that you eat of it, you shall surely die. So James, from chapter 2 of Genesis, from verse 15, we see God giving Adam a commandment to not eat from a specific tree, from a tree of knowledge of good and evil. And the moment that he shall eat, they shall surely die. So my question is, did he eat? And did he die? And how comes he ate if he did? Yes.
Oh yeah. That's a very good question, and something that is very important for us to be able to understand. Indeed, we see that there is a commandment that was given, and that commandment was very specific. That the moment they eat of the tree of the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, they shall surely die.
Okay.
But then for us to be able to understand how it happened, we need to go to Genesis chapter number 3. Because from Genesis chapter number 3, we will now be able to understand what is actually happening. And I would request that maybe you read Genesis chapter 3 from verse number 1.
Okay. Now the serpent was more cunning than any beast of the field, which the Lord God had made. And he said to the woman, Has God indeed said, You shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said to the serpent, We may eat the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God has said, You shall not eat it, nor shall you touch it, lest you die.
Sure. And that is very clear on what the Bible is telling us here.
Okay.
That there is this entity who is the serpent who comes now and wants to deceive the woman.
Okay.
And we can see the things that he's telling the woman are things against what God had already commanded.
Okay.
It's actually opposite of what God had commanded.
Yeah.
So and we are able to see here that the woman is engaging with the serpent on this specific issue.
Yeah.
Now, if we continue to read on, then we'll be able to understand whether she actually chose to eat. Because if she chooses to eat, from what we are going to read, then it means that she had already now bought into the deception.
Yes. From what you have read, I can see there is a word deception. Would you help us to understand what does it mean?
Yes, thank you very much. Now, deception is when you mix a truth and a lie.
Okay.
Now, from the commandment, we realize that it is very clear that the serpent is telling the commandment as God gave it.
Okay.
So that was actually the truth. But then there is the deception.
Okay.
And the deception is now when he's telling them that whatever consequence that God had told them, it will not befall them.
Yeah.
That is a lie, right? But then we also see that he had also told them that the serpent had told Eve that your eyes will open, which is actually the truth, because their eyes later we see their eyes opening, and they are able to tell that they are naked, right? Yeah, so that is basically what a deception is. A piece of truth and a piece of a lie.
Good. Yeah, deception is a piece of lie and a piece of truth. Now, from this, who was deceived? Is it Eve or Adam?
Now, that's also a very good question. Now, of course, we see that the serpent is engaging the woman, Eve. So it is Eve here who is deceived, right? But then we find, because the Adam was also with her, and he had also been there when the commandment was given, he shares also in the deception. Right?
So, if I may ask, is there a difference between deception and disobedience? Because I can see the serpent coming to the woman, and just like you have said, deception is a piece of lie and a piece of truth, and the serpent, he's selling deception to the woman. What about Adam? Did he bought the deception, or he just chose to disobey?
Now, indeed, as you say, there is a deception that is being sold here to Eve. But then, because Adam was aware of the commandment that was given, then it means he actually accepted to disobey the command.
So he just chose to go against the command.
Exactly, because he had the knowledge. He had the knowledge of the command.
Sure. So, what happened after the deception? What happened after the disobedience? Did they die?
Yes, of course, we know that God can never lie.
True.
Because indeed, from the commandment, God had already put it very plainly that the moment you eat of that tree, you will surely die. And we see that they had already eaten the fruit. So we know that actually they died. Maybe what we should be asking ourselves is what kind of a death that befell them.
Okay, apart from dying, which just like you have said, God cannot lie, is there anything that happened to them as a result of disobedience?
Well, several things happened, and we have seen the first one where their eyes are opened. Right? Their eyes are open, and they are able to realize that they are naked. Okay? So, which means that their knowledge of the evil that is in their nakedness was a knowledge that came out of as a result of that deception.
Yes. Now, apart from their eyes being opened, maybe I should read from verse 8, then you take us other consequences through.
Very true. Let's flow.
Verse 8, and they heard the sound of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God among the trees of the garden. Then the Lord God called to Adam and said, "Where are you?" So he said, "I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, and I hid myself."
Yeah, you can see right there that already the reason as to why they are hiding is because now they have a different knowledge. Right? Because there before, we don't find themselves saying they are naked. Yet at this point, we now realize that now they are realizing that they are naked. So there is another knowledge that had come over them.
Okay. Verse 9. Then the Lord from verse 9. Then the Lord God called to Adam and said, "Where are you?" So he said, "I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked and hid myself." Verse 11, and he said, "Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree of which I commanded you that you should not eat?" Then the man said, "The woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I ate."
Please continue.
Yes, from verse 11. And he said, "Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree of which I commanded you that you should not eat?" Then the man said, "The woman whom you gave me to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I ate."
Now we can see now the blame game.
The blame game.
Yeah, because Adam, and I think I have already said this, when we look at Genesis chapter number 2, verse 15, 16 there, at the time that they were being given this command, they were together.
Yeah.
So there is no way now Adam would be coming to tell us now he didn't know about this. They were together.
So he's dodging the accountability.
Exactly.
Okay. From verse 13, and the Lord God said to the woman.
Now, God is now addressing each of the parties.
Yeah.
Right? Now he starts with
the man.
No, he has not started with the man. Just read verse 13.
Verse 13, and the Lord God said to the woman.
Now, God is speaking to the woman.
Yes.
Right? And what does he tell the woman?
What is this you have done? The woman said, the serpent deceived me and I ate.
So the blame game continues.
The blame game continues. Verse 14, so the Lord God said to the serpent.
Now, God is now again going to the serpent.
Yes.
Remember, he has already finished with the woman.
Yes.
Right? Because God wanted to understand what transpired.
Yeah.
Now he goes to the serpent. What does he tell the serpent?
Because you have done this, you are cursed more than all cattle and more than every beast of the field. On your belly you shall go.
So there is a curse that is already pronounced.
Okay.
Yeah. And the curse is pronounced to the serpent.
To the serpent.
Right?
Yeah.
So let's read on.
And you shall eat dust all the days of your life.
That is the curse that is given to the serpent.
Yes. Verse 15. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. So
there is enmity that is put between the serpent and the woman.
The seed of the serpent.
The seed of the serpent.
And the seed of the woman.
And the seed of the woman. And it is interesting here, maybe we'll not dwell here, but it's interesting to find that we are being referred to as the seed of the woman.
Yes.
And all of us know that the seed does not emanate from the woman.
Yeah, true.
Okay, but maybe that is for another day. Let's throw on, because we are looking at the consequences of the deception.
From verse 15 again, and I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed.
So there is already enmity, which is a consequence of the deception.
Of the deception. He shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel. To the woman he said. To the woman. Now God goes back to the woman again. Okay.
Remember, he started with the woman to understand what transpired. But now there are things that he's now saying to each one of them individually. He has already pronounced curses on the serpent.
Yes.
He goes to the woman. What does he tell the woman?
I will greatly multiply your sorrow and your conception. In pain you shall bring forth children.
Okay. So we see that, a woman bearing children in pain is actually a consequence of the deception.
I thought it's a normal thing every woman should go through.
No, according to the Bible, it's very clear that is already, a consequence that is already pronounced by God himself.
Okay.
Right? That in conception, you shall bear children in pain.
Yes.
Which is actually a consequence of what actually transpired.
Yes. Wow. Your desire shall be for your husband, and he shall rule over you.
Yeah.
I guess this is a cultural thing, a traditional thing. Our husbands are supposed to rule over us.
Yeah, but it was not so in the beginning.
Okay.
Apparently, because now when we read that, then it already tells us that there is something that transpired. For that to already be pronounced, that the desire of the woman will be to the man. It means that there is something that has transpired, which is not what was the desire of God from the beginning.
Okay. Then to Adam he said.
Now, to Adam. Before we go to Adam, we realize that there are two things that are a consequence of the deception that are pronounced on the woman. Directly.
Yes.
Number one, in conception, he shall bear children in pain.
Yes.
Number two, the desire of the woman will be to the man, and the man will rule over the woman.
Yes.
So those are consequences that we now realize in life today that came as a result of the fall.
Yes. Yes, I hope our viewers, you are seeing that the consequences are not something you're supposed to be proud of because they are as a result of curse. We continue. Then to Adam he said, because you have heeded the voice of your wife.
Because you have heeded.
And have eaten from the tree of which I commanded you, saying, you shall not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for your sake.
Now, on the man now, already there are consequences of the fall that are befalling the man. The ground is cast on his behalf.
Yes.
So remember, it is not the man who is cast. Hello?
Yes.
It is not the man who is cast.
Yes.
It is the ground that is cast on behalf of man.
Yes. In toil you shall eat of it, and the days of your life, all the days of your life. Let me repeat. Cursed is the ground for your sake. In toil you shall eat of it, and the days of your life, all the days of your life. So both thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for you.
Both thorns and thistles. And I want just to explain something here. You realize that the moment we plow the ground,
yes,
what comes first are actually the weeds.
Yes, the weeds.
Right? Even though we did not plant the weeds.
Yes.
You know, the crop that we sow comes much later.
Yes.
And is actually threatened by the weeds. This is as a result of the fall. Brethren, I believe we can be able to already see that. That what is happening even to date is as a result of what happened.
And you shall eat the herb of the field.
You shall eat the herb of the tree. Of the garden.
Yes. In the sweat of your face you shall eat bread.
In the sweat. And men, now you understand why the labors are mainly on the man.
Yes.
The hard jobs out there are done by the men.
Yes.
Why? It is because of the result of the deception.
And it is good that you are going through this because there is a kind of a deception where man is toiling, when man is sweaty, he's known to be the man. Whereas we can see it is as a result of curse.
It was not so. Man was not supposed to eat out of the toil.
Yeah.
We see this one happening immediately after the fall.
Verse 19, in the sweat of your face you shall eat bread till you return to the ground. For out of it you are taken, for dust you are, and to dust you shall return.
Now, there's something that is also very important here. Remember, we are looking at the consequences of disobedience or the fall. And we see in that verse there that we are told man will actually continue toiling until he goes down to the ground.
Yes.
Now, going down to the ground means now it is when man, dies physically.
Yes.
The physical death. Yeah.
Okay. And Adam, from verse 20.
Verse 20, yes.
And Adam called his wife's name Eve because she was the mother of all living. Also, for Adam and his wife, the Lord God made tunics of skin and clothed them.
Yeah. So we see again something that is happening here. Because of what happened, they realized that they were naked. Now they are clothing themselves with figs. Right?
Yeah.
So meaning, even what we see ourselves dressing today is still as a consequence of what happened.
Okay. So, which means if there was no falling, we could be moving freely.
Yeah, we could still just be moving freely.
Okay, interesting. Verse 22. Then the Lord God said, behold, the man has become like one of us, to know good and evil.
Because knowing good and evil was only a preserve of God.
Yes.
But the moment man fell, now he also partook of that thing, which was only a preserve of God.
Yes.
Right? Because it's only God who knows, who then knew good and evil.
Yes.
But now man has fallen and now is in that state.
And now, lest he put out of his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever. Therefore, the Lord God sent him out of the Garden of Eden to till the ground from which he was taken.
So we realize again now, consequently, now after all that, man is pushed away from the garden.
Yes.
Because in the garden, all the fruits were just growing and man was only to partake of them.
Yeah.
But now he's already banished out of the garden.
Yes.
So he's now to toil. And remember, he's toiling out of a ground that has already been cast.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So these are some of the consequences that we realize that the Bible actually has spoken quite clearly about what happened. Immediately man fell or was deceived.
Yes. Verse 23, therefore the Lord God sent him out of the Garden of Eden to till the ground from which he was taken. So he drove out the man, and he placed cherubim at east of the Garden of Eden, and a flaming sword which turned every way to guard the way to the tree of life. So he really made sure they could not return.
Yeah, they could not return because there was a specific tree which initially had not been given any caution. That now is being protected very, very, very diligently.
Okay.
So and that is why God would not have wished that this man goes back and eats from that, because he would have stayed in that state, permanently.
Yes. Yes. What you have understood today is that the man was given a commandment, one commandment, and the commandment was not to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And this commandment was not given to the male gender, it was given to the whole man, male and female. And that is why when the serpent or this creature is coming to the woman, she's already aware of the commandment. And also there is something you have come to understand: deception and disobedience. We saw that deception is a piece of lie and a piece of truth, whereby the serpent misquoted God and also added some of his information, and he was able to deceive the woman. But also for Adam, he chose to disobey because he was aware of the commandment. And as a result, we see there are consequences, and one of it is to the serpent, whereby he was cast to crawl into his belly for the rest of his life. But also to the woman, we see childbearing pain. Childbearing is not a normal thing for a woman. It is as a result of curse. We also see the husband ruling over women. It is not a natural thing, or it was not meant to be. It was as a result of curse. And as for men or the husband, they are cast and were told that forever they will try to put bread on the table. James, thank you once more for coming. Is there anything you would like to tell our viewers?
Yeah, thank you very much, Beth, for hosting me. Indeed, it's very important that we are able to understand what were the consequences of the fall of man.
Yes.
And indeed, you have recapped on them. I don't want to really belabor on the same, but please understand that some of the things that we just take casually are things that came out of the fall of man.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Continue watching us. We are glad that you're still here.
Yes.
Back to you.
Thank you, our viewers, once more for joining us. Until next time, remember to subscribe, like, comment, and share.